Hi there, everyone. This is my latest rotary sewing machine. This is a vintage model I've restored. If you've seen any of the other postings I have on Craigslist, you'll know that I restore vintage domestic sewing machines. And after almost 7 years, not quite 7 years of doing it, I've developed certain machines that I like to work on. And this is one of those, and particularly in the last year. I currently have another Kenmore Rotary online. It's in a gorgeous walnut table. This one comes in a carrying case. So when you bought a machine back in the day, you had the option. You could get some very elaborate cabinets and tables, or you could have it in a case, which made it a little easier to store, depending on how much room you had at home. But if you compare this Kenmore Rotary to the other model, the styling is quite different. The other one's 1942. This is probably late 1930s. Before then, this is the 117.55. The other one in the table that you see on Craigslist right now is the 117.59. So there were a lot of different models. They were all built with the same rotary straight stitch design. These were incredibly strong and durable. They're all steel sewing machines. And they were built by the White Sewing Machine Company in Cleveland, Ohio. They were built with names like White, Domestic, Dressmaster, Franklin, Kenmore, of course, and then the White name itself. And they were all followed by the name Rotary. And they make incredible stitches. They have a pulley drive system, so they use a rubber pulley wheel that comes in contact with the hand wheel, and that's how their drivetrain works, which makes them incredibly strong, a lot of torque, and I think they're really amazing. And they have the advantage, if it matters to you, of a rotary shuttle, which means the stitches are really consistent and straight. And you'll see that. I've been doing some testing on the machine because I'm getting ready to list it. But I always like to make the videos so you guys can watch them in action. They're really wonderful machines. Most vintage machines that you might see online, they are sometimes they're not running. Many times they're not running, but sometimes it's not because they're broken. They've just gone a very long time without service. So I spent quite a bit of hours cleaning the machines, degreasing them, and then making adjustments as needed, checking the parts, replacing things that might be broken or need replacement due to dry rotting and so forth. And then I do testing to make sure that they stitch properly. If you are looking for a vintage sewing machine, this would be good for you if you were a quilter because of the rotary shuttle. It's also great for upholstery fabrics, slip covers, seat covers. You can sew marine vinyl with these things. And they are incredibly strong. Now, you have a lot of different needles you can put in here. Currently, I have a size 16 Schmetz jeans needle, and that needle is specifically made for heavy fabrics. So, and that's what I've got in here today because I'm going to show you what it can do with some heavier fabrics. You can sew, by the way, light fabrics with these machines, and they do a beautiful job. The reason, again, you guys see me demonstrate heavy stuff so often is because so many of the people who come to me wanting to buy a machine are saying, you know, I need a strong machine because I want to sew heavier things. And, you know, back in the old days, home sewing machines could sew everything from light to heavy. The new machines made today can't handle anything, even medium weight sometimes, so it's really sad. In any case, this machine has all the adjustments that you would really need for a straight stitcher. You have tension adjustment. You have a light on the front, which I'm not using right now because I'm in the sunroom. You have forward, and then you have a lever that puts you into reverse. You can control the length of your stitches here as well, and you can also control the length of both your forward and your reverse stitch, which is kind of cool. And then you have a setting here. Your bobbin winder is on the front. It's one of the simplest and most durable bobbin winders I've ever seen. Wonderful. And that's basically it. The motor is mounted on the back. You have a different thread spool down below. You can't really see it here from this view, and that's for when you're going to wind your bobbin. And all of your oiling points are on along the top there, and that's pretty much it. So what I want to do is go ahead and do some sewing for you guys, or some stitching rather, and demonstrate the power of these wonderful old machines. And again, this one is under the Kenmore name, but you'll see me post this kind of machine under different names. Just depends on who White was making it for at the time. And I can speed it up. I I don't sew quickly, but again, they do have a higher RPM than what you will see me showing you sometimes. And I'm going to take this, what I'm sewing on, by the way, this is a sort of a medium heavy cotton woven fabric. It's the remains, I get remnants in thrift stores, and these are the remains of a piece of drapery. So you have 1, 2, and then it's folded over again and hemmed. So you got 3 layers of this stuff, and you'll see my testing earlier. This row here is one I just did for you guys. And I wanted you to see just the incredible quality of the stitches on this machine. Again, you know, rotary. I sew on machines that have oscillating hooks. So if you have a sewing machine that has not a rotary but an oscillating shuttle, don't worry. That's still an excellent machine. My Necky that's for sale is an oscillator, and it's a legendary machine. So here we go. And you can see earlier I did the short length stitches. And just incredible quality. Oh, let me turn it over so you guys can see the other side. I have sort of a copper colored thread on the other side. So you can see here's the row of stitches I did just now for you guys. Right along the top here. And then earlier I was testing it out as part of my restoration, and you can see the short stitches just gorgeous. They almost look like embroidery. So that's an example. And then I've got, this is a fabric. It doesn't show stitches easily because it's very textured, but it's really thick and fluffy. This is something you might use for a slipcover. I mean, really, or upholstery for that matter. You can see I've got 2, and then I've got another 2 for 4. And I was testing it out. I'm going to go ahead and put the 4 layers under here. And I've adjusted my presser bar, which you want to do when you're putting something this thick under any machine. Let's go right here. I'll put a little more pressure, I can't say that, pressure on my presser bar. And you'll notice I'm sewing a little more slowly. Made my second row there. I don't like to sew fast when I'm doing anything this thick, and you really shouldn't, because if you do that, you'll create too much stress on your needle and you'll break your needle. So, but here's that row of, this is the copper, it'll be easier to see for you guys. This is a textured fabric, so it's not going to show stitches that well, but you can see how beautifully it's so pretty thick stuff. Now I'll put my presser bar back down a little bit, and I'm going to sew something for you guys. I test my machines on different fabrics so that they're ready before people come to take a look at them. And see if I can get this to focus. Here we go. Well. There we go. I knew it would focus eventually. And you can see my testing. This is on nylon, a very dense nylon, not thick, but it has a high density level. It's with a coating on the back, no less. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it for you guys so you can see it sewing on this. I, again, was testing it earlier. I'll come over here to the edge. Do my back tack there. Turn around and make another pass. This is a material that people call it ballistic nylon sometimes, but this is something you would use if you were going to, you'll see this, just made this row right here on the edge. There we go. And let me turn it over so you guys can see the other side. And you'll see there's the copper color on the coated side. And again, you know, just beautiful, consistent stitches, holds its tension. You'll notice the tension holds really beautifully when I go from thin to thick, and that's a really nice quality of any machine to have. And I'm going to do, lastly, I'm going to do some garment leather for you folks so you can see it sewing on garment leather. Of course, you can back tack there too. A lot of people ask me about leather, and you can sew garment leather with a sewing machine. You would want to use a leather tip needle instead of a jeans needle, but for the purposes of this, because I'm doing so many different types of materials, I want you guys to see. So over here, the left 2 rows are the ones I just did. The others I was doing in my own testing. So again, you know, just the quality is amazing. Normally, if you can fit it under the foot, and it's able to pass under the foot, usually it will sew with the proper needle and the right thread and tension. So again, these machines were built, they were over-engineered when they were constructed. This is why something that was made in 1938, 1939 is ready to sew for a really long time, unlike things today that are basically designed to be disposed of. But anyway, I love working on these machines. They're a joy to work on. They are not tough to find parts for, and they really are easy to understand. So I don't know if I mentioned this. I've got stitch length control here, and of course reverse, and this lever here, tension adjustment, and of course your bobbin winder. So beautifully simple to understand and use, and it's a great addition to a sewing room if you have a fairly large set of equipment, or maybe this is your first machine and you've never even sewn before. Half of the people I sell machines to have never touched a sewing machine and they've never sewn anything. So if you're new to it or you're kind of thinking about it, don't be afraid to come and look at them. I can demonstrate the machines for you. I can show you how to use them, and it's just really exciting to realize that something that was made so long ago is actually superior to anything really made for the home today. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. You're going to see more of these rotary machines along with the Singers that I restore. You're going to see more of these coming up, and after this one I have another Kenmore just like this, and then I also have a white, but they're all the same machine underneath. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks.